Okay, welcome everyone. We started talking about the Haggadah shel Pesach, the Passover Haggadah, and what we're doing is we want to keep explaining it further and further. So for the guys that weren't here last week, just to get you guys in, we talked a little about halachmania and the invitation to bring people into our Seder, and the amazing chidush that we saw there was it's in Aramite. Why is it in Aramite? Why is it in Aramaic? Because there's a few reasons. One, it was the spoken language. It was, you speak, you're in America, you're not going to invite someone over to your house in Hebrew. He doesn't understand what you're saying. Unless he's, remind me your name? Uriel. If you're going to invite over Uriel, then of course you're going to invite him over in Hebrew. But, if you're going to invite over someone else, you got to invite him in English. Or in Aramaic, or in French, or whatever the spoken language is. But also, we saw from the Gemara that there is certain places that the Shekhinah is found. And so, when we're praying for sick people, and we're praying on their bedside, we can pray in any language. Because there the Shekhinah is. So why is it different if the Shekhinah is there or not? Because we have Malachei Asharet, we have the ministering angels, that they can bring our prayers and make them stronger. And so, we have to say in a language that they understand, and they only understand Hebrew. But if we say in another language, when the Shekhinah is there, or Kadosh Baruch Hu is there, Bamash, we don't need any extra help, because we have that presence with us. And it says in the Zohar, that on Leil Seder, that Kadosh Baruch Hu actually comes down, and he comes and he goes and hears this story of Yetziat Mitzrayim. So we have a Kadosh Baruch Hu here, and so we can start the night with Aramaic, because Kadosh Baruch Hu, of course, understands every language. Then we get into the famous 4 questions, starting off the night with how do we get the children to ask questions? We got to get the ball rolling. Start by asking 4 questions. We talked about them a little bit, and we got to the first answer was Avadim Ayinu, that we were slaves in Egypt, and we explained that there's this amazing connection between that Avram Avinu, he was told that that his children were going to be slaves. So why is it that like we're going to get punished for something that happened 2 generations ago, 3 generations ago, 4 generations ago? The Me'am Loez brings there's a machloket if there's 4 averot that Avram Avinu did or 5 that he did, that was the reason for Yetziat for Galut Mitzrayim. So we're going to get punished for that. So he says, Me'am Loez gives an amazing pirush that it was because of our own averot. It's because of our own averot we were in Galut, that we were enslaved. Because the thing that is hurting a person more than anything in the world is his own. He's shooting himself in his foot every time he does a averah, that he's not shomer anayim, not shomer abrid, not shomer Shabbat. He's hurting himself. And so what happens? He has to fall back on Zechut Avot. He says, okay, I'm not a tzaddik, but my father is a tzaddik, my grandfather's a tzaddik. Oh, what happens? Kadosh Baruch Hu says, Avram Avinu, you're the biggest tzaddik in the world. But at this moment, I'm taking away the Zechut Avot. There's not going to be Zechut Avot. When your children are going to sin in Mitzrayim, and it's the same stuff that's going on right now. Look what's going on outside. That's the same stuff that was in Mitzrayim. The Jews were wanting to be goyim. The Jews were going out and they were saying, let's be goyim. Let's do stuff like the goyim. Let's dress like goyim. Let's eat like goyim. Let's drink like goyim. Let's do everything like the goyim. And Kadosh Baruch Hu says, oh, okay, there's the avirot. Zechut Avot. You guys have it? No. Took away the Zechut Avot. And that, we basically got to the story of Rabbi Akiva, Rabbi Tarfon, then we got to Bnei Barak. They were all learning in Yeshivat Ponevezh, Kavar Az, and they were telling the story all night long. And we talked about some of those things, that why it was so long, and what's the connection. So that brings us to where we stopped off, and that is Baruch HaMakom Baruch Hu, Baruch Shenatan Torah Yisrael Baruch Hu. Why does this come in the middle here? All of a sudden we say Baruch HaMakom. First of all, what's Baruch HaMakom? Everyone knows Makom is Kadosh Baruch Hu, but what's the connection? As I've heard a few answers, I have a class with Israeli kids. I asked them. They said because Hashem is everywhere.
Like
So he's the Makom. He's in every place. I said, well, normally when someone's in a place, it's because they occupy space. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu, he doesn't have a body. Eino guf, eino demuta guf. So how can he be occupying space? So it'd be more correct to say he's not in any place. And that he just is, his presence, we can feel his presence, we can feel the Shekhinah. So what's Baruch HaMakom? Take Shem Hashem, the name of God. Yud, K, Vav, K. Yud is how many? Gematria? 10. Hey?
5.
Vav, 6. 5. Hey, 5 at the end. Yud, which is 10. 10 times 10. 10 times, we get 100. 5 times, we get 25. 6 times, 36. 5 times, we get 25. Alex, you do computers. What's that all add up to?
Stop the computers.
186. Makom, I do the math. Makom, mem is how much?
20?
Mem is 40. 40. Okay, then we have kuf. Kuf is 100, 140. Vav, 146. Another time mem, 186.
Oh, it's the same.
So we see that the makom, it's already
The same
it's a remez, it's a hint that this is a Kadosh Baruch Hu. Shows us that it's Kadosh Baruch Hu. And what does it tell us? Baruch Shanatan Torah Yisrael. Okay, great. We're gonna go out of Egypt and then we're gonna get the Torah. So why are we putting this in here? Except for true freedom comes from learning Torah. Someone who is truly free is someone who's learning Torah. How do I know? Go to all the scientists and all the professors at the university and ask them what they're doing at midnight. Probably sleeping. Maybe they're doing something else.
Depends which ones.
Yeah, I doubt it. Unless they have a test or they have something or they have a presentation or something, they're not going to be learning. Come hear it. Beit Midrash, any simple Beit Midrash in Yerushalayim, midnight. There's guys here learning Torah. What? Where do we have anything like this in the world? Only Am Yisrael and the Torah are people like giving up everything and just chasing after it. So you have to like ask yourself, what is this Torah that is like people are going out of their house in the middle of the night and they're going to learn Torah. There's a shiur going on right now of just almost 100 people listening to a shiur that's going to go until midnight. You don't have that in any other. None of the goyim do anything like that. If you told a goy, yeah, we're going to go to a class and it's going to be at 9:30 at night on a Thursday night, and he'll be like, "You're crazy." No, we're free. We've broken away from our ta'avot, from our desires. We were chasing after something bigger. We're connecting with something bigger. And that's what this comes to say. That when we connect with something bigger, that's true freedom. And now, we get to the 4 sons. Oh, yafeh. The Hacham, the wise one.
The evil one.
The Rasha, the wicked, the evil one. The Tam, the simple one.
And the one that doesn't know how to ask questions.
And the one who doesn't know how to ask. I have a little 2-year-old son. That's the one who doesn't know how to ask. And so there's 4 pasukim in the Torah that are each one is connected to each of these sons. So the Hacham everyone is pretty simple except for the Rasha. The Rasha, some interesting stuff going on. So we're gonna move the Rasha to last. The Hacham is an older kid. He's already started learning, maybe learning a little Gemara. You ask him what's going on. He's sholet, kamo shomrim, ochez, kamo shomrim ba'ivrit. He knows what's going. He knows what he's doing. So when he asks a question, it's already a little
elevated.
It's a little more picanti. He's already asking something a little deeper. And so what do you say? Answer him with something deeper. Start talking about halachot, start talking about, different machlokot, different deot, different opinions, how to do something. Then you have the tam.
You just think what's that?
He doesn't. He's a younger kid. He's 6, 7 years old. He's asking what's going on. This is the first time that he's really his memory. The first seder he's gonna remember. And he's whoa, everything is backwards. The one who doesn't know how to ask is even younger than that. You have to help him out. You have to hold his hand a little bit. Help him to ask. Tell him it's okay to ask questions. We're the only religion that is allowed to ask questions. Every other religion, you're not allowed to ask questions. You just have to shut up and believe.
You have to believe, yeah, like Christianity, yeah.
Every other religion, Christianity, Islam, don't start asking questions there. They'll throw you out. Or worse. Here, we know we're right. So we're open to questions. Not just that, we're gonna have cholent, we're gonna do a little question and answer. So the Rasha. Where does this evil son come from? The Rasha, he asked, Ma avodah azot lechem.
For you guys, not for him.
Yeah, so of course what the Haggadah brings is that he takes himself out. He already removes himself from Klal Yisrael. He says, this is for you and not for me. But what is he doing here? Like, why do you even come? If your goal was to really to be a kofar, then why are you even here? Now we see that this isn't kofar at the level of the bagats, let's say. They're like kofrim. They don't know what Pesach Seder is. They don't know what Judaism is. They're pure kofrim. So what's the Rasha? It doesn't say he's a kofar. It says he's Rasha. He's wicked. So what is he doing here? The Rambam says that anyone who their avonot, their sins are more than their merits, avonot yoter mezuchuyot, he's already in the realm of Rasha. He's already fallen below the line. So 51% avonot kavar Rasha. So that's not a lot. He's not totally kofar. He doesn't have to be ad asof and all the way kofar. So what? He comes and he's saying, let's eat. I came here for food. I heard your guys are grilling meat, and I want to be a part of that. And he comes for his ta'ava. And so what is he? What does he sell? He comes, okay, netilat yadayim, karpas. Okay, little vegetables to start the day off. Okay. After karpas,
they leave the plate and
they move the plate away. Wait, where are you going with that? I wasn't done eating. And then starts magid. And magid. And more magid. And more magid. And then he says, Ma avodah azot lechem. I didn't come here for stories. I came here to eat. So you see someone, coming back to the same idea, someone who's not free, they're there, he can't even sit for, how long is the magid? You can make it into a 2-hour thing, but you can also do it in half an hour. You can do it even in less time if you really want to run through it. So someone who's not just so out of control, he doesn't understand. He doesn't connect with what's going on around him, and that's the Rasha. That the Rasha, he came here for his ta'avot. He came here not l'shem shamayim. The food is a big part of Judaism. Like they say, we won, they lost, let's eat. That's the short summary of Judaism, right? Yeah. But you have to get through the part of we won and they lost. You have to tell that story to get to the let's eat. And if you tell that story and get to the let's eat, then even the eating is elevated. Even the eating is something that's connecting you to a Kadosh Baruch Hu. And that's why we're always trying to do l'kadesh et hachomer, to sanctify the mundane. And that's what the Rasha comes to teach us, that don't be that guy who is only just so trapped by his ta'avot. He can't even sit through, Yitzei Yedei Chovah. He does the minimum of the minimum to turn his eating, something that's mundane, into something that's holy.
I heard there was a fifth son that was even worse than the Rasha. It says the one that stayed in Egypt that didn't come.
Oh, that's the Bagatz.
Yeah, that's the Bagat.
So the one who said you have to, there's many deot of how many people stayed behind in Egypt. The biggest number that you can find in the sources is that there was, you see, Shishim Ribo went out of Egypt, right? And so that's 6 million. 6 million men. So double that, you have 1.2 million if you count the women, if you assume every man has a wife, had children, you can get the number, bump the number up a little bit. So then the biggest number that you can find in sources, now there's lots of different opinions, but the biggest number you can find is that there was Shishim Ribo for everyone. That means that there were 6 million people for every single one that went out of Mitzrayim. So that means that there were 36 million people, 36 million Jews that stayed behind in Egypt. That's what we're seeing today. 90% of the Jewish people are not Shomer Torah or Mitzvot. If you go to America, 80% of the people are getting, 80% of the Jews that are getting married are not getting married with a Jewish person. And so you're seeing they're getting left behind. Yeah. And if you think that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is happy and that, okay, we can just leave them behind, that's like the biggest mistake ever. The biggest mistake is to think we can just leave them all behind. Okay, I'm doing what I need to do. I'm connecting. That's great, but it's like everyone's on a boat. The classic example is everyone's on a boat. And everyone has their own room. And there's a few guys in their room, and they're drilling holes in the bottom of the boat. And water's starting to come in. And you say, stop drilling holes. The boat's going to sink. Says, no, but this is my room. You do you in your room, and I'm going to do me in my room. No, but the boat is all one boat. So if you drill a hole in the boat, we're all going to sink. That's the same thing with us. Kol Yisrael Aravim Ze B'Ze. We're all connected. We're all brothers and sisters. We all have to do our best to find our fellow Jew and to get closer. And sometimes that's ourselves. Sometimes it's, what can I do to get closer to Kodesh Baruch Hu? Why am I, maybe I'm not drilling a hole in the boat, but I'm not helping patch the hole. I'm not pumping water out. Why am I stagnant? Why am I not moving? Why is my life? Why am I having a hard time with shidduchim, finding a wife? Why am I having a hard time with parnasah? We already said that the person does averot, he's shooting himself in the foot. He's not hurting anyone else except for himself. And he's causing it all to himself. A person thinks, I can just go through life, it'll be fine. No, he's shooting himself in the foot. And he's either going to pay for it in this world or in the next world, but he's going to pay for it. And that's what we're doing on Leil Seder, is that we're connecting with that higher power, connecting with the Kodesh Baruch Hu. And if you see you take the Chiloni, the farthest Chiloni, Leil Seder,
they're here.
They're here. They're with us. Why? Because this is the connection. This is the roots of the Jewish people. So they're always going to come back, and they're always going to come back, and they're always going to be a part of the Leil Seder. Now, if we just want to get to one last bit about the Haggadah, is that we say mitchilat ovdei avodah zara hayu avotenu va'achshav karavnu hamakom la'avodato. So now we're changing gears a little bit. We were telling a story of Avadim Hayinu. Now we're going to tell a story of ovdei avodah zara. It's not the same story. Because the Avadim Hayinu starts in Egypt, but the Ovdei Avodah Zarah you have to go back to Terach. You have to go back to before Avraham Avinu's father, and say, okay, so what's the connection between these two stories? Because our redemption, our Geula, is both mental and physical, and they're connected. If we want Geula, and also this is of course connected today, we want Geula. We want to bring the Mashiach. We have to cause the Geula of our machshava, cause the Geula of our mind and our spirituality. We have to cause the Geula that we're going to say we're not going to be Ovdei Avodah Zarah. And Avodat Zarah comes in many forms today. It comes in forms of women and food and money. All this is elilim. All this is idols. We're becoming slaves to our ta'avot. And so, we're telling this story too. Because even though it seems like two different stories, this started in Egypt, this starts with Terach, but really it's the same story. Because if we want to be free, we have to free our minds and our bodies. So we're going to start with the story of freeing our bodies, but we're not going to be free all the way until we also free our minds.